Okay, welcome back. I hope it is welcome back because due to problems with PlayStation, of course, like always, I can't broadcast apparently. So I just make 2 recordings, and I hope the first one worked, where you can see the one-shot quali and 5-lap sprint qualifying. As a part of an experimental format we're doing here in ALR this week, the first after Christmas. So I hope that worked, and I'm gonna post that, and I hope I can do that on the ALR channel, and otherwise I will just put down a link, but I can only do that after. On paper I have a little bit of time now, but not enough to cut that clean. So of course the downside of this recordings are that I can only record for an hour, but I think we are I think I will make it in 1 hour. And we're back with 18, so I think Reaper can make the grid. So we just had a 5-lapper and to decide the grid, and I luckily made a photo of the result because Kajetic won. He was also the fastest in the one-shot quali, which gives you like the first starting place for the quali race where you can earn the pole. So he's on pole. He had a good fight with Fontana for pole, but in the end the difference was only 1/10, so that was kind of impressive to see. Rula and Will on the second row, then TZ, or can I just call him Astis? Yeah, I'm gonna call him Astis. He came from 17th to 5th, and Eli came from 18th to 6th. So they really made up for their bad one-shot quali. Reaper unfortunately lagged out, but is still on 7th. Stumacher 8 on the grid. Then New Squid O'Leary rounding off the top 10. And then followed by Major Pyro, who unfortunately had a bad race since his one-shot quali was quite good. Romp, Cannon Fern, Wicked Prophet, Snap, Vitor, unfortunately retired. Was really on his way to one of the front rows, and Indian Gregs. So yeah, and 18 are in, but now we have to wait until Reaper has made the custom grid. We will have a formation lap, but just 22 laps coming up. Gives me tight. Sometimes it just randomly goes to Dutch. That's weird as fuck, but okay. So it gives us time to go to the championship, where Vitor is quite safely in the lead at the moment. He has 18 points of an advantage over Stumacher. They were equal in points after Abu Dhabi, but Stumacher had an awful race at Imola just before the break. Didn't score any points, where Vitor finished 2nd. I think that was the race I wasn't commentating. I think Mike took over. If any of you is curious where Mike is, well, Mike stopped with racing by himself in Tier 5. But that means that he has taken over the Tier 5 commentary job, so I will be alone here in the booth, and when I can't, I think we're gonna have some newbie maybe fitting in. So yeah, Stumacher in 2nd, 3rd is Racing Upta, who deserves promotion just like Ahmed after 2 great races. He's still 3rd in the standings, but he basically swapped with Fontana, who won on his debut in Imola before the break, and is already 7th in the standings, or basically equal in 6th, because Ahmed also has 25. Between him and that replacement Racing Upta are Will in the Ferrari with 40 points, and O'Leary with 29 were quite steady in the higher rankings. Reaper had a good race in Imola. He is finished on the podium and is now in 7th in the standings. And then followed by, oh no, he's 8th by the way. Followed then by Snap and Romp with 20 and 14 points. Also new is Rollerula, also came from tier 2. He had pole in Imola and is with 12 points already equal in 11 together with Tej. And Dove and Wicked Prophet with 10. Pyro, yeah, shows the raw pace, but it doesn't really translate into points so far. He has 8 points, the same as Eli, then Major with 6, 4 for Abby, 3 for Astis, and 1 for New Squid and Cunninfern. I think we're ready. Wait. What's in the other half? There is a 19 driver. Okay. Who? Eli is a reserve, right? There's one extra. Who do I don't recognize? Cross tier T, maybe? No? I think so. Further, it looks the same. I hope Reaper has everything in order since he already got some time. He already had 5 minutes for the grid, so I should think. Because I have slightly more than 50 minutes, and a race can take that long, so I don't want to cut it off into the end. However, oh wait, that will of course go off the time that I'm talking here in the chat. But I think we could go. Good to see. So basically there is no real park for me. People can start on whichever tire they want. There will be a formation lap, and of course what we just had in the sprint quali and the one-shot quali, there are no points awarded for that. So nothing like real F1. Basically also because the real F1 used the sprint format as experiment that took basically 30 minutes, which would be 25% now and then. And we don't do that, so we thought it was a little bit too rewarding to give people points for doing well in 5 laps consecutive to each other. And yeah, you can just use any setup, but you have to load it, so if people are smart, they don't press on immediately to give people time to load their setups. It's not really, if you have your setup ready, it's not really a big deal, but so oh. You know, when you see this kind of weather, you know what can happen at Spa. You know it. And they pressed on kind of quickly, to be honest. So, here we go. Oh, there's no formation lab. Okay, that's not really a big problem, but here we go then. Okay. Makes it quicker to end. So Kajetic with the head start, Fontana on the outside, Rollerula was taking a look there. And there are people going very wide over the sausage, and I think Reaper has a problem, because he is already at the back, so... Very interested if he has damage. Fontana already goes for the move. Of course, it's very easy to get the slipstream and make the move on the first straight if you are in the slipstream with somebody, and Fontana takes the lead. Here going through Le Combe. Yeah, and does Reaper have damage? We can also see what happened in the... He already catched up to the rear of the field. Look at this amount of traffic in front of him. He doesn't have visual damage, so... And he already goes on the inside of Eli and up the field. Oh god, and there is an Alfa Romeo in the wall for Snap, who is driving a home race. And Pyro is also already losing positions, so let's go back to the front. A lot of people at the back are on mediums. Indian Grax has made a spin, I assume, and that's already a VSC. In our Belgium race there were multiple crashes on Rouge and none of it caused a safety car. Unless someone did it around lap 14, so it took a while. It's only one safety car. So a lot of people on softs. Fontana, Rollerula, that kind of explains the quick move of Fontana on Kajetic. He really had to do that. Fontana, Rollerula, Wales, Stumacher, Major, Astis, Romp, Cannonford, Newsquid and Indian Graxon. The rest is all mediums. Yeah, you could do medium softs. You need to, I think, save your tires a little bit if there is no safety car at all, but this is already helping. And Snap is in, he has damage, same for Indian Grax. They can go to hards and try to make it until the end, and VSC is over, and there are cold tires on Aero, so let's check everyone and see who crashes. Oh! Side by side both Alpha Tauris, okay, and Rob actually made the move there. O'Leary was very hesitant there, which is a good thing to do, but you're at least sure that you don't crash up, but... And Reaper already up to 14, so he of course got 2 positions free. And Eli also had some trouble, but he is keeping his nose clean so far. Let's see what we got over here. We got a little train forming up, and this is not really Stumacher-like to have cars very close to the back of him. It almost suggests like some kind of damage, but he survives this corner way too well. He's followed by Major and by Astis. Could I just at least see the... I don't know what it is, and there are yellows. Wicked Prophet with a problem. Biggest gainer so far, Major with 4 positions gained, but that's gotta be 3 because this is a good run by the Ferrari. Still 4 positions gained also by Romp, and biggest loser still so far Reaper, but he's on his way to clawback. And I think O'Leary also got a slight issue. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out. He is on the inside there. With Newsquid on the inside, and they're almost 3 wide, and News goes partially on the grass. And Vitor round the outside of Cuddenford. Second Red Bull can potentially follow. But it's got to be at the end of the straight. Speaking about the straight, while O'Leary is the AlphaTauri that goes backwards, Romp is going forward, and the same for the Ferrari of Astis, who is up into the top 5. And Major actually defends that position from Romp. And the same goes for the other Alpine compared to the other AlphaTauri. Reaper making the move on Cuddenford in the background. And oh man, that move went very slow there. And I think O'Leary has damage because he ran into the back of him. Yeah, he has damage, and Vitor tries everything he can to dispatch the Alpine as quickly as possible. If I really got damaged, he should be going wide here, but that really doesn't happen. They're really getting hampered here, by the way. All three cars, by the way. And it's odd to see that O'Leary still looks to have more pace than New Squid at the moment. And he's on the softs. Wait, where are my tires? Here are my tires. New Squid is on the softs. So, okay. Further up to the front, it's hard to make moves around here, and that is indeed what Romp experiences compared to Major. So he's still behind. To be honest, the top four is very close to each other, and Astis is closing in, if I have to believe the fact that he drives the fastest lap of the race. It's very good for Kajetic, by the way, that he keeps up with these soft runners. However, the softs go down, and can go down quickly. Let's see what they do here. Astis is coming. I don't want to see that. And Romp finally making the move on Major. Yeah. Top three close, and Will is on the brink of staying in this group. And Astis is actually quite... He's getting followed by someone who has apparently somewhat the same pace as him. Stumacher. At the same time, Pyro making also a move on Major. A little bit in the middle of nowhere so far, Pyro, but he is recovering well so far. So Indy Grex is again in the pit. He has a dismissal race so far. And also problems for the Haas of course TRT. And Major is really... The Alpines are really dropping, because he's even dropping behind O'Leary now, who didn't show an incredible pace advantage, but I think Major really is struggling. Oh, side by side, Nuve and Reaper. And Nuve keeps position. It's hard to overtake there. You really need a pace advantage there. Reaper was shortly overtaken by Cunningham, but overtook back, and this is a very proper exit. Cunningham almost loosened it in the back. Major going in, so probably he had damage. And let's see if Reaper wants to dive it on the inside. He wasn't planning on doing that, but Nuve gives him room, and he doesn't give Nuve room, at least for a moment. And both drivers are clever and smart enough to eventually make this work. And Reaper with the move gained, and I missed a... No, I didn't miss a move for the lead. They're just very close again. Fontano is struggling on these tires, and struggling more than Rollerula, it seems. And Kajetic, of course, will get the better tire sooner or later. And to be honest, Will and Astis and Stumacher are not really in this group. I was thinking they would close up and join again, but so far they didn't. Vitor making a move in the middle sector, that's impressive to be honest. It's on O'Leary once again, and Vitor finally back to the top 10. Really had his work cut out since it didn't really go as planned so far with his problems in the 5-lapper. Oh man, Kajetic is almost pushing Fontana through the corner. And the Ferraris will also be close on the next straight, because Will is now dropping in pace a little bit. And yeah, you have like the two trios now. And let's see what Rollerula can do on his degrading soft. I think there will be at least one move in the top 6 on this straight. And potentially the Ferrari drivers are swapping, but I rather stay focused on this one. Kajetic on the outside, just enough room. I wanted to say, but they tangle, and Kajetic without damage though into the wall. And that was not a typical incident you see in Le Camp. Normally it's just the driver on the outside doesn't give enough room. which was Kajetic, but that wasn't the problem here. It was further down in the corner where it really looked unlucky, to be honest, because there was contact, and the first contact was not even causing the incident, but yeah, it somehow caused the second contact, and that's where it went wrong. But I don't think Kajetic has damage. He spun backwards almost into the wall and is now down in 7th. It's not even really lost for him. He's now still the leading medium strat man. It shouldn't really be a problem, and Fontenau was really lucky to not lose any position there, to be honest. But yeah, looked a little bit strange. Are there people pitting? Not yet. This is still now the top 6, and Schumacher lost quite a significant time to the Ferraris. He was close, he was on the tail of them, but no, it didn't work out as good as it was. So the only real change, of course, is that Rula really benefited from what happened there and is leading the race now. But he's on the same age of tires as Fontenau. Now has the DRS, but is too far back to really make something move. The only other real close battles between Nuve and Cunningfern for 12th, and Reaper is still on the back of O'Leary for a place in the points. And let's see when first pit stops are coming. It can be quick. There is yellow once again, and Reaper made the move for 10th. And that's already the first penalty for Fontenau, and that's an early one, to be honest. And Indy Grex is basically our first retirement since he left. He also has 0 points so far this season. It's a horrible season for him so far. And yeah. Oh, not the best exit there for Rula, but where can you overtake? Of course you can, but oh, you got to be kidding me. It's Reaper then, yeah. Okay, wait a second. I want to see what happens here. Is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? It breaks much later on the racing line. I was thinking maybe Rula would have pitted, because in that way, well, Will is in now. In that way, he wouldn't really lose position here in battling Fontenau. Very, very fair and clean battle so far. And it, of course, invites Estes into the party. Rula comes back on Fontenau, really using the DRS, and Estes try to come along. And Krusty retires, and this is a well-made move. This is how Kajetic would wanted to have seen his move on Fontenau, and that brings out a safety car in the ideal time. I can't invite, so I can't invite. No man. Yes, it's so bad. Surely there are people. It's very weird that I really can't invite people. It's kind of lucky that there is a safety car now. Normally also someone who DNF'd can. Yeah, exactly. That Fontenau says the same. Yeah. So because PS is so freaking down, leaders are going in. I can't re-invite Reaper. The only really thing I can do is just normally is a driver drives too many laps as an AI in the race, we exclude him for the race results, so the only thing we can do is not do that, but he will be much slower than normally. So I will tell him that. Maybe someone else can still try, but yeah. Basically that whole, yeah, section in game, all the special screens you have to go through for broadcasting or for inviting. Look, surprisingly enough, Reaper could just invite the whole lobby at the beginning, but during the race or something. Yeah, the AI is on 60, so yeah, that's kind of horrendous. He's still in 10 though, but... So basically everyone went in except for Kajetic, who wants to stretch the mediums longer. It brings him back into the lead, and the positions behind them are basically the same. I'm not sure, like, that... Yeah. When I try to go into the invite screen, if it like resets my recording. Because otherwise I'm fucked too, because then I have to make 3 clips. But I don't think so, because yeah, I invite people during races and it doesn't cancel out my recording if I drive a race by myself. Yeah, there's really nothing I can do for Reaper. That's the bad thing. And I think there are even more people trying, because people can try since it's a safety car. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, at least... And I don't know if this is like really a game issue or more a PS issue, because in the invite screen and also when you try to make a broadcast, you go back to PS menus, not really in the game. So maybe this is not really... Wait, is he back in? Or he is? What? What? Well, surely he's in. Surely he's in. The AI doesn't spin out. Okay, this is weird shit. Surely he's in, because they're basically waiting another lap for Indian Gregs, who is not even in the race anymore. Otherwise we could have just restarted this lap. But Reaper is in, but he's spun and is now back down in 14th. Out again. No. Okay, so I think we're it's fixed. Wicked Prophet uses this to go into the pits and goes for another set of mediums. Yeah, well, he will make it until the end. I think everyone will make it until the end, unless Kajetic, because he has to stop. So, yeah. So Reaper is apparently back, but he still has his work cut out to finish in the points. He on paper only lost 4 positions, he was 10th, so... The safety car will come in and then we will have 11 more laps, I must assume, yeah. With Rula in a good position. Of course the medium runners are, yeah, have some kind of beneficial factor, since they can make it on the mediums, I think, until the end. Yeah, I think they can. So there are some people on hards that were like not really confident about their tire safe skills. Reaper of course didn't make a choice, but O'Leary, Cunninfern, Vitor, Pyro and Astis are those drivers, and I think we can go and resume racing. Let's see what Kajetic is gonna do. He of course will go for the medium softs, but he has the whole field now punched up behind him, so he will have a major job to score a decent result, I think. However, we know that if there is one driver with potentially the pace to do that, that's Kajetic, since he stood on pole and he went quite early. But yeah, that really worked, since only like Rula and Astis were a little bit away. Go, and he spins. Our cold tires. And now the dream of winning, or a good result, is really over. Luckily he's ghosting there. I will see that through, normally I wouldn't accept that, but he knew he was already ghosted. And he is now down back behind Snap in 15th. And O'Leary with a problem, indeed, and he is giving Kajetic another position back. Here is Fonter now, of course, on softer tires, on Astis, and he goes in hot pursuit of Rula for first. I think Will really wants to see his teammate, or his teammate for now, since I think Astis is a reserve, to return the favor of earlier, to give him the position. And while trying that, he gets 3 second penalty, so that's not really the best. It's already a big gap created. Kajetic also with his first penalty, because Stumacher is leading a whole bunch of cars over here. And I think Eli is one of the closest up to Romp. They are both on mediums. And Reaper already gained 3 positions, but I think 2 were because of a spin. So if he scores points, he's coming out of nowhere, to be honest. Let's see what Vitor can do. He's on the same tire as Pyro, so that should be an interesting opponent for him. Yeah, of course the hearts will be better towards the end, of course, of this whole stint. I'm sure of that. But for the moment, the medium runners will have to make the move. And so far, nothing really happened. And I think there was a problem for Nuve indeed. He dropped back. Let's see, Fontana is getting ready into the DRS of Rollerula. And let's see, I think this is the one legit. Wow, okay, he's going over the grass, and there's not a lot of grass there, and he's still over the grass. Hila, because stay on track. He's making the pass though, but he went over all bits of grass there, and he also goes wide here again over the. Does he even know where the track is? Because basically that made him lose the position again. He just gained on romp. That's kind of funny though. There are a lot of 6/10 gaps, to be honest. Wicked has pitted for softs, which can go through the end, but he needs another safety car, of course. And let's go back to the Ferraris. A bit of a wider line there by Estes. Maybe Will can do something. Stumacher is also closing in here. And Estes is on the hard. Will is on lap older tires. That's what I see now. And Vitor also still closing in on Pyro, but not really able to make a move. And same for Kajetic on Reaper, who is back at the point. Fontana, by the way, with the fastest lap. So he can make a move on this straight. Fontana really coming back to grips in this tier immediately from the get-going, which is interesting because it went so horrible with him in tier 2, and now he's in the running for a second win in a row, and he's basically fighting with another former tier 2 driver in Rollerula, and Fontana is very smart there to not put himself in a position where he can be spun out. I think Rollerula may gave enough room, but don't take the risk indeed. There is surely be a lap in the future where you will be much further ahead of him while coming into the Lacombe section. This is the most interesting battle because Fontana is definitely quicker, but the problem of course with his penalties is, and I see him go wide often in Pouhon so far, so I think there is even a possibility that he could get a second 3 seconds, but let's not talk about that now. I don't want to jinx people. Vitor is very close to Pyro now, so if you can make a move in Blanchiment you can do now, but I think Pyro is using his ERS. He has a lot though. He's usually that, yeah, on the right places on the track, just on the acceleration zones to the long straights, but he's lacking a little bit of pace compared to Vitor. He's so close behind him. He's going for the outside, but there was a lot of room on the inside. I think Pyro was kind of clear, and Reaper goes in. That's surely going to be damaged, because otherwise he wouldn't do that. Let's go back. The Ferraris are now going to fight, and Fontana is now choosing the outside. Well, at least you can't be spun out there. Oh, Ruler breaks late. He breaks late. That's well covered off. That's well defended. And Vitor made the move on Pyro though, which was of course coming. And now, speaking about coming, Rump and Eli are reeling him in now. For Vitor there are now 2 seconds, but there are a lot of people on mediums in front of him. So Fontana is very close in this section to Rollerula, but he really defends well. And that's indeed the best he can do, because of course Fontenot has the 3 seconds, but Rula also knows that if he lets him by, then it's over. If he can like pull out the gap, and Rob made a mistake coming out of the hole, and he dropped way down to 13th, and it's a bad day in the office for Alpha Tower. We brought the softs. Oh, he's not really that far off though. 9 seconds. It's a long lap. You can gain a lot. Fontenot, where is he going? It's kind of a fascinating battle, and like I said, between two former tier 2 guys. Who are leading the pace here, but also mainly because of their strategy calls. Fontenot on the inside into turn 1, and Rom leaves the outside. They're side by side going through Eau Rouge. Oh, I can't see shit because of this. And Rula eventually claims higher ground, but Fontenot is now so close to the rear of him that he really has to commit with his ERS, because now it's the time to make the move. And he made it, yeah. And let's see if he can pull away in the second sector, where Fontenot really looks much quicker. The Ferraris are still in the same order though. That's by the way impressive from Astis, that he can remain his pace on the hards. He is under pressure though by Will and by Stumacher. You see the lines at Fontenot, that's surely warnings. But I don't see him pop up, and I know he has one, but if I see the lines he's taking, then surely another penalty is incoming. And that can cost them, since people are not really far away from each other, especially the top 8, I would say. The top 8 is kind of close to each other. Okay, so yeah, Will is dropping off a little bit compared to his teammate, and Rula is doing exactly what he had to do. Stay in touch with Fontenot, and then we can have a ding-dong battle here by, yeah, the one passing the other one lap, and then vice versa the next lap. Oh, and Fontenot is gone. He lost it, his first lap in the lead at that point. And he lost all traction and grip, and we saw that very nicely on cam. I really jinxed him. Well, I didn't jinx him really. I just mentioned the potential penalties he could have, but yeah, that's over for win-wise for Fontenot. So weird, because all those laps he was in dirty air there, and maybe listing off. That could be the case, of course, and now he took his chances and thought, well, if I don't want to give Rula an opportunity, I have to go almost flat out through Eau Rouge here, and maybe that's what happened, because this was the first time he didn't have like dirty air. So weird to see. And yeah, this is a long lap, man. He lost his complete front wing. He's kind of lucky that he's not out of the race, to be honest. Oh man. Yeah, this is poor Fontenot. So it started really well in tier 4 for him, but now the first problems arise. Oh, it's kind of sad to see though. He was in a very good position. But yeah, apart from him, no big balls in Eau Rouge, so one props to all the drivers. I think Snap is closing in on Major, by the way. Yeah, he is. Eli also in. He also wants to try the soft. That's not a lot of laps to go for. Funny that I was saying that it looked very cloudy and foggy at the beginning of the race. It could be rainy, but it only cleared up more and more. Let's see what Stumacher can do compared to Will, who just has enough to stay in front. Well, a good effort there by Schumacher, who immediately drops a few car lengths. And to be honest, Astis is closing a little bit in on Roller Moulin, which could be logic on the hard tires. So maybe we can have a battle for the win. Will has of course the penalty, and Schumacher is, going to the front. And of course he is the main title rival of Vitor. He's now only one position ahead of Vitor. Vitor with a penalty though that can drop him behind Pyro at the moment. Luckily for him there is a big gap afterwards to these two, still fighting for 7th. And behind that there is Kajetic on brand new softs. He went into the pits again. Will have a massive pace advantage compared to some other drivers. And he is trying to find his way around Romp, who took his first penalty. Before that, let's see if Schumacher can do something to Ferrari. No, give Kajetic more of a credible chance to make an overtake. Yeah, he could try it. Romp is defending the racing line. Okay. So he will just go through the inside. Romp's still there. But softs give him so much traction that he can out-traction him just on the outside. And Nuve with some kind of problem, and O'Leary in the wall. I don't know if that has something to do with each other. And we got here two guys on new softs. Eli on brand new softs. Reaper now passing him for 12th. This can be ideal. Oh, and Reaper is gone in the wall. Yeah, he already picked up a warning there, and he was way off the racing line, by the way. He was off the racing line. I think I saw that in a blink of an eye, which can really explain. It was already a hard task for him to come back to points, but there was a chance. There still was a chance. And he's the second one in Eau Rouge, I can remember, so not a lot of guys. And yeah, he's off the track, so only a yellow. Only a yellow. And Fontenau. Oh man, Fontenau has binned it somewhere else. He can't be that far back. He did another thingy which he didn't like, I think. So yeah. And he's now close to his teammate who is at the back of the race all along. But yeah, okay. So 3 more laps to go, and maybe there is a chance, a possibility for Astis to go and win. He is still reserve, I think, so and from Rollerula this could be an ideal opportunity for him to win a race. I don't think he has won many. He, of course, was not any near to like P1 in Tier 2, but now he is. Basically, this is a close battle. Of course, Eli can still gain on move, but I don't think if he can gain 7 seconds in 3 laps to Rump to get a point. However, Eli doesn't have penalties, so could still be the case. And yeah, of course, let's give the home driver a little bit of airtime, because Snap is still on the back of Major, and of course, penalty-wise, it's looking good for him. He still wants to gain that position, mainly because Kajetic is coming. And although that he also has penalties, Kajetic has the pace to pass and drive away. Only 2 retirements so far, that's kinda impressive though. Good stuff here by everyone, very sharp. And yeah, a lot of penalties though. O'Leary had damage, I think, so he went in. He's also very down, far down the grid. And that gives guys over here a chance to fight for points. And Kajetic had a collision with Fontenau, and he made an extra pit stop, so, and he's still in the running for P7. He plays it a safe way so far here. Almost pushing Snap through the corners. And of course, Snap is on the same tires as Major, so he is gonna lose the position here. Potentially. Yes, he is. Let's see if Estes can do something for the lead. Just comes short, and he only has one other option, if you ask me. This is a great angle. A proper fight for P1 and maybe also a proper fight for P3 compared to the penalties. I don't know if Schumacher maybe needs 3 seconds to wheel or... yeah. And Kajetić also passed Major, so he of course has a penalty, but maybe he can create a gap to Snap. Fontenau still grabs the fastest lap, of course. The 14.42. And these guys, we're going to follow these guys into the final lap, I think. And if Estes can time this perfectly, he did a hell of a job. Because he wasn't on the real ideal tires. Because a soft medium was possible with the timing of the safety car tonight. Mercedes and Ferrari fighting for a win, that feels like 3 years back. So, and of course both drivers have to be aware of their penalties, maybe one of them or both of them are on too body, so... Final lap. And Estes has one real possibility, if I'm being honest, because the real possibility is on the end of this straight, into Lecombe. Nobody is buckling under the pressure on the straight. Rullo will push everything, I think. Do they? Yeah, they're almost down, both. They're almost down on the DRS, but Estes makes the move and times it to absolute perfection. Because Rullo has to bring a lot to the table to counter this. A very convincing and decisive move, and yeah, that made it look a little bit easy, but if Rullo really had a chance in that move, then he would fight it harder, of course. Wow. And this is, to be honest, yeah, you could say this is a little bit Hamilton Brazil, because Estes was on the final row after the one-shot quali. He invalidated his lap, so went up to 5th, and well, it wasn't easy for him. But he is, yeah, he's looking to win this race. He has 7 tenths on Rullo and he's not going to catch that back. Although Rullo has every deployment of ERS he can make, he's too far back. Estes is actually, as a reserve, going to win here at Spa. Really showcasing and highlighting that an invalidation in the one-shot quali is not decisive for winning or not winning. Because he wins here with Spa. Again, the margin is small. It was 1/10 in the 5-lapper. It's only 6 tenths now. Schumacher potentially to P3. Depending on the penalties. Yeah, they all had the same. Maybe Pyro. And Pyro indeed does jump Vitor for 5th. Just. And he almost went up to 4th. A good race by Pyro, by the way. His best so far. Kajetić and Major is dropping a lot due to penalties. Kajetić finishing in 7th, good home race for Snap in 8th, Rompe in 9th, and Major eventually, with a lot of penalties, is just 4 tenths ahead of Eli, who almost got it back to the points. And here are some other drivers. There is still a potential battle here. Oh man, coming from with a weird line. If I got the same amount of penalties, it's going to be a drag race to the line for P. Yeah, confirm had a penalty. I think O'Leary just made it, but yeah, great race, a lot of finishers, I'd also say. And eventually the call to hard for Estes was good enough. He just made it, the right lap, he timed it on the right lap, and that's of course very, and yeah, indeed, driver of the day. If you just look at this race, it was a good one from Vitor, who DNF'd from the 5-lapper. And went on to finish almost in the top 5. Because I think Pyro has ditched him out of that. Yeah, Pirate ditched him out of there. He finishes in 6th. Also good race by Snap, by the way, especially if you see that he had a 2-stopper, but you see that not getting any penalties is really rewarding. And yeah, a lot of 3 seconds though. Only Kajetic had 1 extra, which doesn't cost him in the end. He built that gap to Snap, by the way. He was passing Snap in the penultimate lap, and he had 6 seconds, and he drove 8 seconds away from him then. And a wicked profit with 4 stops. But only Major with like massive points. He would have been in contention for P7. But okay, thank you all for tuning in. I will post this upload as soon as I can. So I'll be off to do my job, and hopefully you're next week back. And hopefully we can really broadcast then, because we're going for the first time to Jeddah. So take care, stay safe, and see you then.